Okay, we're here at Ridgefield with Sarah and Percy and Dr. Koeting? Koeting, yes. Okay, so what we're going to do today, we're going to microchip Percy.
Right,
so what do we have there?
This is the microchip, and it comes with individual identification numbers that are individual for each pet, so they can be registered and found online. There are services that register the individual numbers for the individual pet.
Okay.
You also get to put down alternate contacts and the veterinarian's contact, so that if your pet gets lost and the chip gets scanned, they can enter into a database, a national database that will come up with your name, your pet's name, what the alternate contact is in case they can't get in touch with you, and the veterinarian in case they can't get in touch with you.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
So the whole apparatus basically is like a vaccine injection.
Okay.
It's sterile. It's kept sterile in this bag.
Okay.
We have readers that will actually read the chip that's in here, and that's how a pound or animal control or another veterinarian will find. If we find a dog, we always scan the animal to see if there's a chip in there, because it's the fastest way for us to find if they don't have a tag on them. And a tag and a collar is always the easiest way, because even a layperson can read a tag and a collar, but the tag and collar often get lost when the dog gets lost.
But let's say if someone were to steal somebody else's dog and take off their collar.
Right.
If it's microchip, it's going to save their dog's life.
It will save their dog's life, and it will give you absolute proof. I mean,
that was
how
your
many
dog.
black labs are there in the world?
True,
How can you prove that's your dog just because it comes when you call? Does that prove it? Whatever.
Good point.
This is proof.
Good point.
So the collar and the tag, they're important, because if it gets down the block and somebody calls, the vet's rabies tag number or whatever, you get your dog back really fast.
Okay.
But many times the dog and the collar get separated, and this guarantees that there's another way to find you. So we like both.
I agree.
I think it's just a double-edged.
No, I agree. Yeah.
So basically, the reader will make sure that the chip is working. Again, this is just like a syringe for an injection, and there's a needle.
The chip's already in there,
and the chip is in the needle already.
We can't even
about
see
the
it.
size of a grain
God.
of rice that sits inside that needle.
We can't even see it.
The needle is very, very sharp. It's as sharp as a scalpel blade. So it basically makes a painless little incision, which
you say scalpel blade and painless together.
Well, because the sharper the object is, and the easier it goes through the skin, and the less pain reaction there is.
So Percy, we don't have to put him to sleep or anything?
No, it's a very, very sharp needle, so that it goes in, it slides in very quickly and easily.
Okay.
And basically, it's no more than a mosquito bite to them.
Wonderful.
Or a vaccine injection.
Okay.
And so we check.
He's ready to go to sleep.
Yeah, he's loving the attention.
Yeah.
So we check the
scanner. There's our number.
It comes up with the number.
Okay.
So we know this is a working chip. And we always put the chips in the same place. There is suggested places for different species of animals, so that we kind of know where to look. We always check the whole dog when we have one come in, but we know that it should be in this area above the shoulder blades, behind the head, on the top. This is where the chip should rest. Occasionally they do move a little bit. But we just pick up the skin here, and you can see he's just, reacting to touching it.
Typical puppy, yeah.
And then we just enter the skin, and then we push the lever to put the chip in.
And his tail is wagging. I'm going to add.
Pull it out. And
we just microchipped him, right?
He's microchipped.
And his tail was wagging.
Yeah.
And your tail was wagging,
The whole
Percy.
time.
Yeah, the whole time.
So we'll scan, and sure enough,
And there's his
chip comes
number.
out.
Percy, you chipped, bud. Yeah.
He is chipped, and
Awesome.
there's no bleeding. There's
No bleeding, yeah.
no issues here.
And he's wagging his tail the whole
He's wagging his tail the
time.
whole time. I mean, we do have to pick up the skin and hold them and do that. And so, they know something's going on, but no vaccine,
No anesthesia.
no anesthesia.
2 seconds.
Any size animal can be done.
Okay. Do you do clients that are people who maybe go to another vet for shots? Would you microchip them here, or?
Certainly. I mean, if all they need is a microchip, all they need to do is come in for a brief office visit and the chipping, and that's it. They can register the chip in different locations, but we have paperwork for AKC. They will microchip not only AKC registered dogs, but any dog, and in fact any animal. Some people will chip expensive parrots, and especially kept in aviaries outdoors.
Good idea.
Cats, anything. So that AKC registry is not limited to AKC dogs. It could be horses, it could be anything. And it's part of that national database. Some chips come with a registration. We like AKCs because it's inexpensive. I think
I think mine was $18.
Yeah, it's around $20, and it's a once. It's
one time for life.
You don't have to keep re-registering every year, which if you forget, and then your pet's not on the registry.
Right. So basically today we'll just get a paperwork. If it were my person, we're going to register him with the rescue, but if it were my personal dog, I would just fill out the paperwork, send it in, and
within a week or two,
I can find my dog.
They send you a tag that also, gives you some identification that says that there is a chip in the dog. But again, if the tag and the dog get separated, the chip is always there, and all we have to do is, if he ends up at another veterinarian's office, I found this dog kind of thing, or at a pound, animal control, it's especially important when you evacuate or if you visit out of town. People don't know your pet. You may not be there long enough to put on a big search. If they end up in the pound, then all we have to do is get on the right part of the dog. Oh, now she's ready. Sorry. Wait! There we go. And here's the number.
So if they find that number, can they call any registration to find out who that dog belongs to?
Basically, they have to get online and Google basically microchip
registrations,
identification, and sites will come up.
Gotcha.
Or we can go look that up, and I can get you that and splice that in.
That's fine. Awesome. And look, everybody, y'all saw it, people live. Y'all saw him microchip live. And he didn't hurt him, he wagged his tail. Well, we can't thank you enough. We're hoping this is going to save many, many dogs and really give owners comfort to find their babies.
We don't see enough microchip lost animals, and we have pets get brought to us on a weekly basis where somebody found a dog roaming around and wants to know, do we know who this dog is? Do we recognize the dog? They've been around to every veterinarian and they're looking, and they have to put an ad in the paper and everything else, and if the animal was chipped, we would know right away. We've had clients find dogs who looked mad, horrible, terrible, muddy, whatever, and they assumed that they were strays that were tossed out and abused dogs, and so they're going to take this dog into their home and take care of it. And we said, well, let's go ahead and scan for a microchip, and this dog obviously is, not well taken care of, and is not going to be microchipped. And a chip goes off, a long-haired white dog being lost for a week, they're going to become one muddy mat and look terrible. And people are going to assume that somebody threw this dog out and it's somebody's beloved pet. So we're able to reunite animals with their owners very quickly when they have a chip.
Awesome. And I know me personally, I'm too busy to read the paper. I'm not going to read the paper if someone found my dog.
Well, and I personally had an experience where we found a parrot years ago before I got into vet school, and we ran an ad. The parrot actually had been lost like 4 months.
Wow.
So the people had already run an ad, had run it a second time, and then had basically given up that they'd ever see their parrot again. A couple of months later, we find the bird, run an ad, but they're not checking the paper anymore.
Right.
And so it was only by luck of the draw that the daughter convinced her father to run the ad one more time, and we were still looking at the paper.
Wow.
And we did end up getting together and we got the bird back. But, when animals are lost any length of time, if you're not checking the paper every day, and things can be missed. So
there was a thing on the news recently, a man in Michigan, he's still chilling, y'all, he just got microchipped, it's no big deal. A man in Michigan recently found his dog after 3 years. Someone had stole the dog out of his yard. It ended up in a whole different state in a shelter, and they reunited him after his dog after 3 years.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much. And also, too, I want to add in, too, I love Ridgefield so much because if you're a client here, you will see your dog weekends and holidays.
Yeah, we do our
I love that so much. But having 7 dogs, I've had to use y'all quite frequently.
We do our emergencies in-house, and
I love that.
Unless there's something that needs to go to a specialist or whatever, but we will see you here in town. You don't have to take a sick animal.
And I speak of as a pet owner, that's so comforting. I'm so thankful for that. I'm so thankful.
It is a bit of a hardship on our doctors to do emergency calls.
It is.
We feel it's important. So it's
I agree.
nice for people to appreciate it.
I very much so. Well, thank you so much, and thank you, Sarah. Percy, whoever gets you is going to find you.
Yeah. He's a good dog.
Thank y'all so much.
You're welcome.